It was finally time to leave, but before we slipped the lines, we had to do some provisioning for the trip. I was happy to see that even here in Gibraltar, Morrison has a small Polish section. So we're just getting lots of instant soups. I think they're great on the passage. How are we going to carry it? It's just the two of us.
You either have option to take a taxi or we have plenty of bags.
Yeah.
And those guns.
I think we can manage, no? Chcesz mi podać? Okay, so that's one thing done. Before we go, we also want to refuel, so we're just gonna get the boat ready and to go to a fuel pontoon, which is just around the corner. Well, the good thing about fueling up here is it's cheap.
We're just about to coming to the refuel point. Nat is helming. I'm acting as a crew, standing with the lines, ready to lasso.
So, I think it was a little bit sticky. So what's that we're adding?
It's Marine 16 because we have still a bit of old diesel.
And we don't want the bug, isn't it? Just briefly, for those who might not be familiar with this term, it is basically a contamination in the tank from microbes that can clog filters, injectors and wreck the engine. It can originate from infected fuel but also lives in the air. Condensation forms at the top of the tank, especially when boat is stored for long periods and the tank is not full. These organisms attach themselves to the water droplets and drop to the bottom of the tank where they feed from the fuel above. We were advised to use a Marine 16 bug treatment, which supposedly eradicates it.
So the price in the Jeep's about 74 pence per litre.
I think to fill up, we pretty much need about 400 litres because we're almost empty. We're only guesstimating it because we don't have a fuel gauge. So yeah, just our fuel gauge is here, our eye. We have to guesstimate. Okay, I'm gonna go get some extra canisters.
Yeah, but this Marina Bay.
Yeah, we were in Marina Bay.
Yeah, okay. Then you came to.
We have to go all the way around.
Yeah, to. There are a checkpoint, but we are only a free port. Okay. Here in the brown wall.
Yeah.
It's the law, which said that if you cross, you must pay 500 pounds and 6 months of prison.
That is crazy. Unlucky. So it looks like we cannot get the fuel cans from here on this side of the pontoon, because if we literally cross just over there behind that wall, we would be fined and in prison for 6 months. So we're just gonna have to fill up the tank and then spring off, go back to the pontoon but further down, and then get the canisters, fill them up with diesel again, and yeah, that's it. Crazy stuff, but it is what it is. Got 3 canisters of 20 litres, so that's 60 litres of diesel, and we've got 1 for outboard engine petrol. Now we're sorted, we go back to the marina and we get ready for the trip. In the early morning the next day, we were ready to slip the lines. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning and we are just getting ready to leave the marina. We've got good wind today. It's an easterly blowing through the straits, so that should be favourable conditions to get through the straits now.
Let's get back to home.
We're off.
What are we planning to do right now?
We're just gonna cross the straits, but we're not gonna cross TSS, and then we're gonna go along the shore of Africa, so sort of from Ceuta to Tangier. We're gonna give a wide berth around Barbate, because that's where all the incidents with the orcas were. So that's why we're trying to stick to the other side of the coast. That's what we're doing. We've got, like we said, easterly winds, so the wind should be mostly sort of behind us on a hopefully broad reach now. And it's blowing today a little bit. We're just coming just outside the Europa point, so we're coming out from behind the rock. I think the wind's going to pick up there. We'll see what the conditions are really like over there. What is this? Smugglers?
So, I don't know if you see it, it was a police chasing someone. I think it's a lot of smuggling here between Gibraltar and Morocco. It's actually happening quite often in this area. Nice to see going them with such a speed.
We're just coming back to the marina. We noticed that we lost all the coolant from the engine. We can't tell where it's leaking from. So we're just heading back to the marina to quickly check, and we can head again out. Reality.
The problem wasn't that big like we thought it's going to be. It was loose Jubilee clip on one of the engine pipes. We lost all the coolant which went underneath the engine. Lucky us, it wasn't anything difficult.
Was that 70 pounds worth of coolant? Once Ziggy pumped out all the lost coolant from the bilge, he then replaced it with one that was pre-mixed from an authorized Perkins dealer. Because the weather was still favourable, there was no point wasting time, and so we left that same evening. Babe, are we ready?
Yes. Yes, we're ready.
Okay.
I was born ready.
I'm gonna put you here. Okay, let me explain here what we do before we leave the dock. Before we start the engine, we always do the following checks, using the acronym WOBBLE. First, we check water filter, for any debris or seaweed that could block water intake. We also make sure the seacock is open. O stands for oil level. B for belts. Have a quick feel for the amount of slack or any damage in the drive belts. B for bilges. Look for general signs of leaks. L for levels of fresh water coolant, but I'm pretty sure we've got enough now. E for the exhaust. Once we start the engine, we check for good flow of water from the exhaust. While we let the engine warm up, we check down below if everything is stowed away. We switch on all the equipment, navigation lights if needed. We prepare the sails. We then make sure we have fenders on both sides, and we get the lines ready to slip. We observe the wind direction, as well as what the tide is doing and how it affects the boat, and that way we decide the order in which we slip the lines. Our neighbour offered to give us a slight push to help us maneuver away from pontoon. I engage the throttle in reverse in a takeover. Once she gets enough momentum and I get steerage, I go to neutral. The wind starts acting on the bow, turning it to port. Squall was very good to us and went exactly where we wanted her to go.
Goodbye, Gibraltar! And we are out of the marina.
Before we are out in the open waters, we make sure all the lines are tidied up. All the fenders are pulled in and everything is then stowed away.
That's what the hard working people have to do.
So that's our second attempt at leaving Gibraltar. Let's hope this one is successful and we have great winds, no problems, and lots of fun. Gibraltar Bay is quite busy, full of ships and fast ferries, so we pay attention to what is going on around us. So what time is it?
4:30 in the morning.
We are flying at the speed of, as you can see, 7-8 knots average. Yeah, we've had fog for the past few hours, so we can't really see more than what, 50 meters, 100 meters? Yeah, 150 meters. So we'll stay very cautious, having a look around all the time for any ships. We are very close to TSS as well, but trying to stay out of it. Yeah, it's going pretty well so far.
I want coffee.
Me, I had the red.
Ziggy stayed up all night. He let me go to sleep 5 or 6 in the morning. Now it's my turn to steer, and Ziggy can get some rest. We don't have an autopilot, so all is hand steering, unfortunately. That's why we're going to make some stops along the way to get some rest, to get some sleep. We've been actually motoring for a few hours now because the wind died completely. Now we are in an area where all the ships are either entering TSS or leaving TSS, so we are trying to dodge them left and right. We are almost out of this area and approaching, what's it called, Gibraltar? We're then gonna probably look for an anchorage within Cadiz Bay and stay there overnight, isn't it? Get some food, gonna cook something. Yeah, should be pretty good night.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm. Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon. Side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
I can never get enough of dolphins.
You and I, we got it.
I'm starving.
We don't need no more.